Hi everyone. Um, I welcome you all to the webinar, which is Agile Way with PMI-ACP. Myself, Shuchi Singla. I have almost 11 years of industry experience in software development and testing, and I am into Agile coaching and consulting from almost 2 years now. I am a scaled Agile Certified Practitioner and Consultant, and also a Agile Testing Certified Consultant. I have been involved into many agile transformations and coaching assignments along with my work experience with companies like Infosys and Sapient. So the basic agenda that we as Edureka team decided have jotted down for this webinar is we'll try to understand what is PMI-ACP. Why do you need PMI-ACP? How is it different from other certifications available in the market? And having said that, you would want, why do you need to have PMI-ACP certification? As in, why do you need to move towards Agile? How is Agile different from other models, right? And briefly, we'll look into the exam and certification process for PMI as well. Okay, so I'm sure most of you would have heard about PMI. PMI is Project Management Institute, which offers various other certifications like PMP, business analysis, risk management, schedule management. There are certain other certifications as well, and PMI-ACP is one certification by PMI, which is totally aligned around agile principles, tools, and practices. So if I have to compare this certification from PMP, PMP on a broader level talks about core project management tools, techniques, what are the methodologies that should be used for project management in nutshell, whereas PMI-ACP is only focused around agile. To do PMP, you do not need to be part of a software industry or IT industry. PMP can be done by anybody who is managing some kind of project. But if you want to do ACP, it is only for software or industry, software industry people. And PMP is a very, PMP will give you a broad information on project management in a broader area. Okay, so this is how PMI-ACP and PMP differ. So in case if you have doubts on how, which certification to go for, either PMP or ACP, I hope this will answer, it will clarify that. So ACP is only for those folks who are focused more around interacting with teams on a daily basis, who are clients or who are companies are moving towards agile methodologies. But PMP is for those people who are dealing with project management and do not interact. Their focus is more around the big picture of delivery of the project. It could be either domain, either technology, or maybe it is not even mandatory that it has to be a software industry. Now, if I talk about a PMI-ACP exam, to earn this PMI-ACP exam or to appear for PMI-ACP exam, you need to have 24 PDUs. PDUs is nothing but a professional development unit, where one PDU is equal to 1 hour of professional activity or maybe some kind of a learning activity. So to appear for this examination, you need to have 24 PDUs, which are given to you by Edureka if you attend PMI-ACP course by them. Okay, so this is a kind of a mandatory training that you need to undergo if you are appearing for PMI-ACP. This certification is valid for 3 years, and to renew this certification, you need 30 PDUs. So these PDUs can be attained by any webinars which are conducted by PMI, or maybe self-study that you do through some project that you were working on, or and there are certain other or maybe you are attending some conferences on Agile. So this is how you earn PDUs. You need to register with PMI and you need to submit the PDO information, and PMI goes and approves that, right? Uh, while preparing for this examination, as I mentioned, this certification training is kind of a mandatory thing to appear for. There are certain other reference materials which are recommended by PMI. There are 11 books which are recommended by PMI, but I do not recommend reading all the 11 books. Just to clear the exam, 1 or 2 books is more than sufficient. But just in case, if you want to read those books, you can, I mean, anytime go and read them from a knowledge point of view. Clear? Okay. There was this question, how is PMI-ACP different from other Agile certifications like SCM or CSM? There were a couple of people who wanted to know that. So PMI-ACP, okay, so this ACP is a broader umbrella, whereas other certification which we talk about like SCM or CSM, both are focused on Agile, whereas ACP is a broader umbrella. SCM and CSM are completely focused on Scrum, whereas ACP talks about complete Agile. So when I say complete Agile, Agile is a bigger umbrella under which there are certain different methodologies which can be used to execute a project, which are Scrum, Lean, XP, DSDM, TDD, BDD, you know, these are the various different methodologies which can be used, and Scrum being one of them. The other certifications like SCM and CSM just talk about Scrum, where they will not talk about Lean, they will not talk about Kanban, they will not talk about XP. Whereas in PMI-ACP, you get to know about everything. So if you ask me, if you are PMI-ACP, you are fit to work in any of the methodologies you want to work on. But if you are CSM certified or SCM certified, you just have knowledge on basic Scrum methodology, but you are not aware about Kanban, XP or Lean. So I always recommend my, my colleagues, my peers, or maybe my students to go for PMI-ACP, obviously, because it will give you more broader information, and it will help you, it will touch base every aspect of Agile. Okay, so having said that, we have been talking about Agile certifications, Scrum, XP, but one thing is that we need to understand, why do we need Agile? Okay, so I will ask you to please use your chat window again, and if possible, please let me know, why do you think we need Agile? Why does a traditional waterfall model fail? Why there is so much buzz about Agile all around? Why everybody wants to learn Agile and every company wants to move towards Agile? What are your thoughts on it? Please use your chat window, and if you can just briefly describe me, I would love to hear those answers. Yes, there are, Agile helps you have a quicker execution. Agile is very useful for projects who are volatile in nature, or maybe they have ever-changing requirements. The requirements are not stable. Very well said. Yes, they need upgrade. Very true. So as you all guys mentioned, Agile is more suitable for projects who are long-term and have a very volatile requirements. There could be a scenario where client wants to start a project, but at this early stage, he might not have a very clear information on why he wants to, what is his end goal. In this case, you would always go for Agile. Agile is best suited for these kind of projects, because Agile in long run lets you accommodate changes. Since you are not working on a big bang approach, you are not working on all the requirements in one go. You are working on tits and bits. You are working in small chunks. You can implement change very easily. But having said that, does not mean that Waterfall has completely faded out. Right? Waterfall has its own benefits and is most beneficial when projects are stable and are short term. Right? So I am not here to propagate that Waterfall has failed, or I am not an agile propagator, but the idea is that collaboration and change in requirements should be acceptable. Okay, so just to reiterate, use waterfall model where the projects are short term and you have a clear vision on what needs to be delivered, and the requirements are static. Whereas in agile, the requirements would not be static, they would be dynamic, they would be volatile in nature, and it would be most suitable if projects are long term. Because when you are working on a project for a bigger duration, for more than a year or maybe more than 6 months, the chances of technological changes, maybe market demands might change, and you might have to introduce a change in your requirement, right? So in this case, agile would be best suited. In short term, a project which is like 2 to 3 months project, a technological change or a market demand, there are very less chances of having that changes. Hence, waterfall model would work for you. Okay, so to demonstrate that, to elaborate more on that, there is another terminology which is called cone of uncertainty. So it says that the estimates which are done at the initial level, okay, are not very close to the real figure. They might change 4 times than the actual estimate. So generally what happens in the legacy system, in the legacy method, when you are doing any kind of estimates, right, they are done at a planning phase or maybe a pre-planning phase. Most of the team members are not involved at that point of a time. Maybe pre-sales team or BAs are involved, and they have very limited information with them. They do not know how the system will progress, and they give the estimates which are very unrealistic. There could be a case where they are far way too less. Maybe you need 2 days to fix something, and they estimated it to be half day, or maybe there would be so much padding in those estimates, the client starts losing money. But in agile, we say that implementation of agile methodology flattens this cone of uncertainty. Okay, so when I say agile flattens the cone of uncertainty, it means that the estimates are very realistic. We are not doing any padding, or maybe the estimates are not less. How? So what we do is, in agile we never work on assumptions, right? So if we have a huge requirement, they are called epics. So we do not estimate our requirements at an epic level, which are at a very high level. So just to justify it, I am creating a website which is something similar to Naukri.com or any job seeking portal, and I want to implement a search functionality on that, right? So implementation of a search functionality is a very high level requirement. It can have multiple things under it. It would need, it can have keyword search, it can have wildcard search. Again, depending upon the persona, depending upon the kind of person who is doing the search, the functionality might differ. So if I'm a job seeker, my search would be around the job listings, right? If I'm an HR, my research would be around the resumes. I would also want to download my resumes, right? If I'm an admin of a website, my search would be more around maybe user profiles, maybe around the content which is getting published on website. So under search functionality is a very broad, high-level category. So my requirements would, or my estimation will never be focused on the search functionality. So we do not estimate till the time we have clear information and till the time we do not go down to a user story level. So epics are further broken down into features and then into user stories. A user story is nothing where my requirement is defined on the basis of a persona and I have acceptance criteria against it, right? So a typical user story for this search functionality could be, as a HR admin, I want to implement a search functionality where I could also download a resume. as a job seeker, I want to have a keyword search which helps me look for which provides me maybe a more granular or more refined search results for that particular job. As a job seeker, I want to do a search based on the location so that I can see all the jobs which are available for that particular location. So this is a typical user story. So my estimates in form of hours only occur at a task level, which is like if I'm working on a user story, like as a job seeker, I would want to implement a search functionality based on the location. I would have certain tasks associated with user stories, like creation of test case, implementation of a functionality, execution of test cases. So these are my tasks. So my estimates in hours would be at a task level. Above that, from epic to user story level, my estimations would be based on the story points, which will define the complexity of a story. Okay, so if a user story, some story is at 8 points and another user story is at 4 points, so at a rough or at a high level, a user story with 4 points will take half the time of a user story of 8 points. Okay, so in this way, since we are not estimating it at an epic level, we keep, we break the requirement and we only estimate till the time we do not have a clear idea and we do not have complete information around it, we do not estimate. So which brings in the correct estimates and it makes the estimates more clear, which reduces the chances of having your estimates bleeding, right? Or maybe estimates were so tight that teams ended up stretching themselves. Clear? Does that make sense? If you have any questions at this point of time, please ask. I think there is a confusion. This ACP, as I mentioned, this ACP certification will talk about the complete agile area. It is, I did not mean, if I sounded like that, I did not mean that this ACP certification is only for large projects. No, all I meant was this ACP certification will cover the complete aspects of Agile, whereas other certifications just focus on Scrum part of it. ACP will touch base all the Agile methodologies which are present within Agile. And Agile in nutshell is more useful for projects which are long term or which do not have very clear requirements or do not have very clear vision. Yes, Edureka is a registered education provider for PMI-ACP certification. If you guys are interested, I will ask support team to get in touch with you. Probably after this webinar is over, you will get an email from support team for the feedback and for the registration as well. So in case if you're interested, please register yourself for same. You can use that, and it's an online training which we provide. Any other question on Agile concept as such? Why do you need Agile, and any question on cone of uncertainty? Okay, so now having said that Agile helps you adapt to the changes which are coming up in the requirements. Agile helps you adapt all the changes which are there. In Agile, the estimates are really close to what the actual effort would be, and in Agile we do not work in big bang way. And what do you think would be the benefits of Agile, right? I'm sure you would have seen when you're working in a traditional model, most of the time you're working on requirements which are not even used, right? So if I have to quote another example, probably you're working on an ERP system, and for an ERP system, taxation could be a very important requirement. But implementation of taxation in July-August time period would be of a real effort wastage, because this is something you might not be using it, right, till February or March. You would only need that system when you are in February or March. So it makes more sense to implement a functionality in time period of July, August or September, something which you're going to use in November and December, right? So this is something, taxation is something which can be deferred for some time because you're not going to use it before February, right? So in Agile, since the requirements which we are picking in small chunks and pieces are prioritized by the customer, you have a regular collaboration with your customers, you talk to your customers on the daily basis or on a regular basis, and you take a priority and you take the input from your customers, it helps reduce waste, because something which is of no use at current situation or current time frame and it has been created is a waste, right? And since the prioritization is happening, and the prioritization could be based on the cost factor or maybe on the market need, right? So, and you're creating only those things which you need currently, you are in a way you are increasing the speed to market and increasing the ROI as well. Okay. Another is improved decision making. Why? How does it Agile help in improved decision making? In Agile, everything, the decisions are not just restricted to the higher level. In Agile, we propagate that any decision which is taken has to be a team effort as well, has to have team involvement, right? So when everybody in the team is involved in the decision making, you make sure that every aspect of a project is taken care of. Maybe if only developers are involved in making a decision making, there could be some aspect of QA which gets missed. Sorry. So when it is a complete team decision, it helps in taking the better decisions. Improved confidence, since we are saying that Agile completely focuses on collaboration, it makes sure that everybody in team is treated as equal. We give them ownership to do their own work. We do not believe in command kind of a relationship with the colleagues and maybe with the junior profile. So we give them ownership to make their own decisions, which in turn will help improve the morale of the team. And again, once the morale is good, there would trust and safety and good quality of product is imperative, right? One of the questions which I have at this point of time is, how do you select that in Agile, whether you need XP, whether you need Kanban, whether you need Lean? So whenever, in interest of time, whenever we select an Agile methodology that needs to be worked, we do an assessment kind of a thing. So based on those assessments that we do, we decide which methodology to go for. So for example, Agile XP could be used for those teams who are into hardcore development and into product development. XP would be best fit for those teams because XP gives you guidelines for programming. For production support, Kanban is best suitable because Kanban gives you a task board kind of a task board kind of a thing which helps you speed up the movement. And since in production support you have SLAs defined, so Kanban could be used. So there are other assessment criteria which we have, and based on those we decide which methodology to work on. Okay. Any other question? So once, if you guys are interested in taking the PMI-ACP certification from Edureka, Edureka support team will get in touch with you. I think for all the webinar attendees, they also offer some kind of a discount, and you can just go and enroll yourself. So these batches happen every weekend, every 2 hours every weekend. I mean, it's a 16 hours of 24 hours of training, and it happens every weekend for 2 hours. and you can just enroll yourself. Once your training is complete, you would get a certification of completion of training from Edureka, and which will issue you another 24 PDUs, which are must for appearing for the exam. And while you take the training, I'll keep guiding you on how to register for the PMI and how to appear for the exam, and when is the best time to start reading books. So this is how it will be. Okay. Once your application has been accepted, you appear for the exam. This is the kind of a certificate which you see on the screen that you would get. There is no marks which are mentioned here. It would be either just pass or fail. So generally it is 65%. But yes, the current exam pattern which is there is only applicable till 15th of July. Post 15th of July, there is a expected change in exam pattern, which obviously would be introduced by Edureka as well. So there is expected change in pattern by PMI-ACP, which will go until I think September, right? So it will enter the pilot phase and it will go until September. So this is how it is. So in case if you want to go for a training and you want to appear for a certification, either it has to be before 15th of July, and even if you take the training now and you are not able to appear for the certification, there will be a follow-up class with you guys to introduce you with the new exam pattern by Edureka, and which will be free of cost. Any other question? As of now, we have no information that what is the change in process. It is just the examination pattern which is gonna change. So overall ACP process, I think would remain same. There would be no change as such there. It would be more of an exam pattern change. Kanban does not differ from Agile. Kanban is a subset of Agile basically. So Agile provides the guidelines for Kanban as well. Any other question? Okay. So apart from what I mentioned about this Edureka class, so if you are registering for, you would get exam materials, right? So you would get access to the LMS learning management system, which will have all the presentations and the study material. It also has module-wise quizzes and 3 mock tests based on the current exam pattern. Obviously, these mock tests would change as we get information on new exam pattern. Plus, you would get access to 24/7 technical support, and access to this LMS would be valid for lifetime. So even if you decide to give the exam later, you would still, this access would be valid throughout. Okay. So this is all about it. Okay. So as it says, all people who attended the webinar now are eligible for, I think 35% discount it says, but I'm not sure if this discount is still valid, but I think you can talk to a support team for more details on that. Obviously, you would get complete information post the class in an email. Okay. Any other question before we close for the webinar? Okay. So thanks guys for your time. Just in case if you have any question, please feel free to reach out to support team for more clarifications. And I am Shuchi Singla. In case if you have any doubts, please feel free to reach out to me as well. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I spell my name as SHUCHI, Shuchi, SINGLA, Shuchi Singla. So you can connect with me over the LinkedIn, and I would love to answer your queries. And once this webinar is over, you would also receive a feedback link for the webinar. Please make sure you fill in the feedback link for me, and it will help us improve better. Thank you so much. Thanks guys, and I hope to see you guys in our next class. Thank you. Bye-bye.